So now it's finally time to bring out a new character that I put together for character requests. I know it's been a while since I made a character and put one together. It's been constant character packs. I'm going to bring out more of those, maybe a new one this week in the mix. But this one, for this particular character or characters, this is a duo that's brand new to me. This is also a new show that I haven't seen before until I started putting this character together for ideas, watching episodes and clips, and getting to know Sanjay and Craig separately as characters. And I believe they could fit this game, or maybe a future title, as a new duo, a new playable fighter. We haven't had any updates yet as far as the crossplay, and if there's going to be any new characters after Rocco and what their plans are. I'm not sure what's going on. But I feel like now that we know that crossplay is a real thing, we're probably going to get something soon, maybe by the end of this week, maybe on Friday. It could be something, considering the fact that it's the end of March and April is going to be approaching very soon. We're getting ready to head into the new month. So I wonder what's going to happen for this game and when we're going to probably get that crossplay, maybe even some additional news of what's going to happen for is the future for this game. And characters like Sanjay and Craig can be set for the future for another title or a universe pack character that could be included for this game.
Select your brawler.
And I'm just going to be talking about mostly the duos, and I'm going to probably reference Ren and Stimpy a little bit for this game and will throughout this video for today, because they're a iconic duo, and Sanjay and Craig could be just as good as them, and if not better. And this is what I want to say, is that I put Sanjay and Craig together as far as my ideas and their moveset. I think they could play better than Ren and Stimpy, and they could be the better duo. And I can almost say the same thing for Cat Dog, but if anything, you know, they already got some powerful moves as their own with their strong attacks, especially Dog himself. But I definitely wanted to reference Ren and Stimpy when I was putting this character together, because they're such a perfect duo. They're always together, Ren and Stimpy, and Sanjay and Craig have a strong bond just like Ren and Stimpy. And not saying the same thing goes for Cat Dog, but just thinking of the different things that they could do together and work together to be able to fight and brawl on the battlefield. But let's start talking about Sanjay and Craig. I always like talking about the backstory for these characters. If you haven't seen some of these videos before, I always have the backstory to talk about what I found out about the character and share the information, just a little bit about the character or characters themselves, so people get to know them when they watch these different DLC videos. And these characters are potential DLC and characters we could see in a different game, maybe a sequel for All-Star Brawl 2 if there is one, but we'll just have to see what happens. But these characters, is so many that can fit in this roster, and Sanjay and Craig is I believe can be one of the best duos to be added, and this game doesn't have many duo fighters, so that's why I ended up choosing them for as far as y'all requests. And alongside of those lines, villains and duos can get in to be able to stack up the roster. So I'm gonna keep it on Ren and Stimpy for a little while throughout the video, maybe even throughout the whole thing, most likely. But let's start talking about these characters. Sanjay was, well, just a little backstory at least. Sanjay ended up finding Craig. Craig is the snake, and Sanjay is the human. So that way, I wanted to just say that right then and there, because then when I first started watching the clips and was researching this character, I didn't know who was who. I thought Sanjay was the snake and Craig was the guy, or just the human for these characters for the show, so I had them mixed up. But I wanted to just be able to label them so I know who's who, so I wouldn't confuse them, and it also helped me put the move set together that I created for them. So Sanjay was searching for a new pet to bring home, and he found Craig at a pet store. And Craig is so different from, he's not an ordinary pet. He's not an ordinary snake or an animal that you'll encounter when you go to the pet store. You go up into the pet store, no animal can talk in this world. But Craig is the only one that's so different and very unique because he can speak and he can talk and do all kinds of things. So he ends up going to this pet store, his local pet store, and he finds a talking snake named Craig. And just from there, they become the bestest of friends. So the best friends, and that's where the bond starts. So they're into the same thing, their interests, and they have fun together. They go everywhere together and they hang out. From the restaurants and what they say, the Frycade, which could also be a playable stage. I'm going to get into the stage as well. The Frycade, and just throughout the episodes as you watch, they go through these different adventures together, and they're always together, and they have such a bond, just like Ren and Stimpy. So basically with the series, Sanjay and Craig have these different adventures of town of Lundgren, and Sanjay also helps Craig to keep his ability to speak a secret. So it's not just Sanjay that knows that Craig can speak. Only the closest of his friends or those in his circle knows that Craig can speak. And other than that, he's keeping it a complete secret from the whole entire town or the whole city, so no one finds out about his secret of being able to talk. And there's other things about Craig being able to disguise himself. He can take form on as a human. He can take on a form and basically disguise himself as anything. So if anyone approaches, you wouldn't even know it's Craig. You would just think it's another ordinary person. But that's just how unique Craig is and what he's capable of, as not only just a talking snake, but just his ability, his self. And I think that's what made this character, well, these two characters so unique, and they can work out as a duo. So that's just a little backstory. And just like I always usually say for some of these new shows, like the Loud House, for example, I haven't seen all the episodes, but I took the time to watch some of the episodes. I became a fan of this show. I know some people probably don't like it, and some people remember growing up watching it. I'm new to the show itself, and I've been watching older shows like Kablam and Real Monsters and Rocco's Modern Life and stuff like that, all the way from there, and Ren and Stimpy, of course, Zen, Wild Thornberries, Rocket Power, and more. It goes on and on and on. But Sanjay and Craig was a new show that I just became a fan of from watching these clips. It's a pretty good show. And I'm gonna just say this too. It's as if Sanjay and Craig is a family-friendly version of Beavis and Butthead. So that's why I think of these characters and just what I got from watching this show. And I also like watching Beavis and Butthead because I also played the game back on Sega Genesis and so much more. But it's just like, that's what I got from them from watching this show. Sanjay and Craig is basically almost what Beavis and Butthead could be, but it's on Nickelodeon. And it's much more family friendly. See what I'm saying? So that's what I got from watching these clips and just watching these characters and, you know, seeing how they interact and what goes on in the shows and the different adventures. But now that's the backstory. Now we're going to jump into the stages. And of course, Lundgren, the suburban town, is where the series takes place. And I also threw in Sanjay's house, and just like I mentioned a little bit not too long ago in the backstory, the Frycade is almost like a main spot for them to hang out. And I just thought either 3 of those stages somewhere in Lundgren, or maybe they could have Sanjay's house similar to how they have the Loud House in the background for that stage. They could probably design the stage that way as an idea. Or we could be inside Sanjay's house to battle it out, or maybe the Frycade. But I think those are more ideal because they are both located in Lundgren. So I think that could definitely work as a different particular stage. And they could have did something for that, for like Hugh Neutron with Retroville or Retroland. But we have a completely different stage for Hugh Neutron. But they could do something for Sanjay and Craig like that. So now I'm going to talk about the alternate costumes. I know watching several episodes to try to find several things that they can wear. And as you can see, just going between the duos. For Cat Dog, they just have hats. And that seems to be the main thing for costumes in this game, where they can definitely have so much more even SpongeBob, many other characters. See, it's different. Not everybody has hats, but they can have more than one costume. And I wanted to find out what they actually end up wearing and just different sort of attire that they can wear for this game for alts. And even they could probably make some of the costumes paid DLC. And that's all in one pack. You get the character, you get Sanjay and Craig, and then you also get their alternate costumes all into one. Similar to what when you buy these characters individually, you still get the costume individually, or if you buy the pack, you get everything all into one. So for the first costume or first alternate costume, I selected the friendship rap costumes, and they do these little funny raps, and you can find these little clips just looking them up. The friendship rap, they wear these different costumes that could really be fitting and awesome costumes for alternates for these characters for the for Sanjay and Craig. And the next one, blueberry Smoobies. The blueberry Smoobies, see how they have the hats in this game that I just finished talking about. They can wear their blueberry Smoobies hats in their aprons, and that's from the Justice for Durdle episode, where they was selling blueberry, almost like blueberry smoothies, but it was so different. And it's like a, I just say it's not as good as it's when they show how they make the blueberry smoothies with the whole process, but I'm not gonna get into that. It's funny just describing what they do to make these blueberry smoothies, but everybody enjoys the blueberry smoothies. Just from this episode, if y'all want to check it out. So I thought that'll be something that'll be cool that can match up with their hats, but they can have their blueberry smoothies aprons with the little label from their little store that they had started. And the friendship rap costumes can be paired with the Raddest rap costumes when they were doing that, the rap songs that they made, and it's really catchy and funny just to listen to them. So they have different little outfits. And just for Craig, for example, he has that blue backwards hat. He has that blue hat that's turned backwards, and he has that red and white t-shirt or red and white short sleeve t-shirt that he wears with it while he's rapping with the blue hat. So that could be something that he could wear, and it's part of his costume. And more, the sunshades and the different hairstyles that they have for Sanjay, they can definitely make reference those episodes to rock those different costumes. And one more that I added from the Be Like Tulips episode is Sanjay's favorite hero. He's an action movie star. So Tufflip can be a perfect costume or a perfect alternate costume for Sanjay because he dressed up like him. Even his hairstyle was just styled up similar to Tufflip, who is his favorite, or they say he's a washed up action hero now in the TV show from watching some of the episodes and getting to know the characters. He can be like Tufflip, his favorite hero in this game, as a nice little alternate costume. And it could be something it's just better than what we have with certain of these characters. Cause see how Toph is a little bit dressed up a little bit? It could be something similar to this, where it covers him. But Tufflip, I think that'll be a nice little costume for Sanjay, while Craig is wearing his rap costume. And you can be able to alternate, and this is something else I wanted to do with this while coming up with alternate costumes. You can be able to alternate you can change Craig. You can have Craig just be his regular self, or you can be able to edit and pick what Sanjay wears. If he wants to be like Tufflip, his action hero, or he can just rock his rap gear, and you can have Sanjay wear something completely different. And they can also play around with the color variations where Craig, I was going to say Sanjay, where Craig can be a different color snake. See what I mean? So just different color variations. I think that'll be a nice little add-on, a nice little touch, just in case they can't really get all those different costumes. They can always change the color, and you can just be able to edit each individual character between Sanjay and Craig and how you want them to look. But I think that's going to be something that can be different about this. Instead of just changing it all in one button, you can select, see how this, this shirt icon. You could be able to click on it, see with the X button, something like that. This shirt icon, you can just be able to click on it, and you can be able to edit between Sanjay and Craig to see what you want them to wear. Or just, let's just do a little example. You pick them, here's Sanjay and Craig. Say says in the announcer, or the announcer. You click on it, change it, and you can pick who you want. They can have a little snake icon, and then a little icon with Sanjay's face, or you can just highlight them or what you want them to do. I would like to see that. I just think that would be a nice little change where you can change that individual's character or that individual duo. If it's a duo fighter or a trio, you can pick what you want them to wear. But now we're gonna move on to the taunts and animations. And as silly as it is, I would think that, and just would imagine that Sanjay and Craig would be doing farts and passing gas in the battlefield as some funny taunts, so they could do like a synchronized fart together. And then just some things that I just noticed from watching the Laugh Quake episode. This could be labeled the worst laugh ever, and it can pay tribute to the episode itself when they were forced to laugh from Megan Sparkles, where she was trying to be the queen of laughter, and she ended up hitting them in their pressure points, making them laugh so they can do that similar laugh as some kind of a good little taunt, and they can be in that same little position on the ground for the little ground pose. I thought that'd be something that they could do as another additional taunt, as an alt. Not every single character has a additional or alt taunt or alternate taunt in this game, but that can be something just in case they decide to add one for Sanjay and Craig. And some of the quotes, I didn't know all the different iconic famous quotes that are the funniest quotes that they could say, but I just put up a little bit when they come in, maybe something when they spawn in, we're Sanjay and Craig. And one of the voice lines that they could probably say as far as the arcade, now we're cooking with gas. See what I'm saying? That could be something that they can probably say that can fit their character, but I couldn't really find any other funny quotes that they say or iconic quotes. You know, obviously I haven't seen the show, I haven't watched too much of the show, but I didn't see too many any sort of arcade voice lines that could fit them, and just different things like that. But I just see them farting, passing gas, and things like that for little taunts and little animations that can work for this particular duo with Sanjay and Craig. But now, last but not least, we're gonna move on to the moveset. And just like I mentioned before, Sanjay and Craig will be able to fight together as a duo. They're not going to be separate characters. I don't think they should be separate characters at all, because they're always together. And I think they could be one of the most dangerous and one of the best duos in the game. And I wanted to start with something. You guys might think their attacks are goofy, but I think they could really be really strong. And they love wings. They love chicken wings. It makes me hungry just thinking about it. They love wings, chicken wings. So for this, chicken wings, like a wings, they could be able to fire the bones. So I put a chicken wings bones where in their attacks, or just wing bones, so where they can be able to fire projectiles. So Craig can shoot spicy wings or spicy wing balls rapidly across the screen. And when you hold the button down, you can be able to continuously fire. And it was when they were it was in the episode where they were Sanjay was trying to eat the spicy wings, and it was too spicy for him, so he had Sanjay disguise himself as a human to be able to take in all the spicy wings, and he ended up firing all the wings or the bones of the chicken wings as someone else that was at the Frycade. So I thought that would be the perfect move for him to be one of his movesets or one of his moves in his move pool to be able to fit this duo. So how fast he shoots those wing balls, it was like a rifle. They can probably make it that fast. But you'll probably be, as you keep on using it, he'll probably run out of wings or bones that he can shoot, so you'll just be able to fire rapidly. But just the way Craig was firing those wing bones, I forgot to list the episode, so I have to drop it into the description for y'all, so you guys can be able to see this clip. He was just firing the wings so fast, so I just think that'll be so perfect for a nice little projectile and a move that he can do. And it was making me think of April's camera. When she brings out the camera, keep the camera rolling. And it hits you continuously while you stay in that static of the camera from that little spotlight. It can be just as fast as that when he's shooting those wing balls. Just like that. That'll be really awesome to see. So I think they could probably do something like that. The next move, the most rad combo, where Sanjay can swing Craig like a sword with a 3-hit combo to attack the enemy. And keep in mind, Craig is so flexible and he can stretch his body. And I'm going to lead into that going towards the end of the moveset. So I thought he can use him like a little bit of a weapon. And keep in mind, he can also take on a form of anything because he's a master of disguise. So that'll be a really nice little 3-hit combo. The next move, snack time. And it makes me think of Jake and Taz from Cartoon Network, how they could be able to bite and eat enemies. I don't think there's any sort of character in this game that can eat anything. You know, outside of eating, just from an animation, it's just Garfield. But he doesn't have a move where he eats anything. But Lucy Lau has a bite attack, but they can definitely expand with the snack time move that I came up with, where Craig can bite and swallow anyone in front of him, and he can spit the enemy back out. So that's just one of the moves that I gave him. And then the hot sauce breath, where Craig can drink hot sauce and Sanjay can use the fire coming from Craig's mouth to burn the enemy. So that can be something that's a little bit that's a good little move for him, and it can continuously inflict damage while he's burning, while like a little bit of a burn effect. And then with his hot sauce breath from his fire that he's breathing from his mouth, he can be able to have different parts of the area on fire for a few seconds. I think that'll be something that can be fitting for his hot sauce breath. And constrict is another move where Sanjay can unleash Craig to trap the enemy with his tail. So one thing I wanted to make unique with Sanjay and Craig is the ability for him to let Craig go, to be able to unleash him, to be able to separate, and that way he can go after the enemy himself. And then the character or the player can play as Sanjay. Or maybe they can switch it where you can take on and manually control Craig to try to grab him and constrict the enemy yourself, and the AI can control Sanjay himself. Or maybe he can just be standing there while he's vulnerable. That could be something else to make it fair. Give him the AI ability, but they can flip-flop that. See, it's just so much creative ideas for this duo where you can. This is just something that I came up with. He can unleash him and let him go after an enemy himself solo. So he can constrict him, have him in a bind, wrap himself around the enemy, or they're trapped and they're tied up. They're all tied up, and then Sanjay can just take advantage. So I thought this could be something that could be very unique as far as a feature that they can add to be able to split up. And let me just throw it out there too. I was thinking about Banjo-Kazooie, the split up sort of ability. That could be something that could be a feature, a unique feature between Sanjay and Craig, where he can split up and the AI can control Craig, or you can choose who you want to manually control. So I don't know what you guys think about that. So I'll have that listed. It's already listed as well, so you guys can react to that if you want. But this is, I just think this duo is going to be great. So just to wrap up, Fartastic, where Sanjay can release gas bubbles from his body, and during the battle he can charge it up for a larger explosion, launching enemies. So it made me think a little bit about Ren and Stimpy with his recovery move, because he uses that, and then he can also use some kind of, I forgot what the name of the move is, but when he absorbs the blows, he can release some gas. So it gave me Ren and Stimpy vibes, and maybe a little bit of Wario of what he can do. But it's going to be different for Sanjay, because he'll be able to release gas bubbles that can go across the screen from his body, and then during the battle he can just keep it all held in, and then he can just release everything to be able to, for a much stronger explosion to launch the enemies across the screen. That'll be something really funny to see and very fartastic. So that's why I call it the move. It's a little goofy name, but I think Sanjay he can be the one that can unleash this move. And see what I'm saying? How I just mentioned how they can split up, and Sanjay can really just be released to go after the enemy and go after the target. He can be able to use this combo, to use this fartastic ability to be able to take advantage. So while you're constricted by Craig, he'll be able to launch you with his gas. So recovery move, they definitely have to be together for this. But just considering the fact that Craig is so flexible, and basically he can stretch his body so far. I just called it the stretch of awesomeness, because they always like to be awesome and wanting to be rad and things like that from the show. The stretch of awesomeness will be the recovery move, where Craig can stretch his body in midair while Sanjay holds on to him, and they can get back into the stage together. I think he'll easily have one of the best recovery moves, because Craig is so flexible and he can get to almost anywhere to stretch his body. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of this moveset? And I think Sanjay and Craig, just like I was saying, they can easily be able to fit Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and probably get into the game at a later date. I'm not sure. But I think they have so much ability. And just with Sanjay and Craig together, I think they are better than Ren and Stimpy, for sure. And just from watching the episode, I'm just a new fan of the show. I definitely want to watch more of the episodes. And getting to know Sanjay and Craig separately allowed me to put this together. It took some time. I just didn't want to rush through the characters or anything like that. I just like doing the research and making the proper moveset so it makes the most sense and it could be more ideal. And one thing I'm gonna have to put is just that episode with the spicy wings, where Craig was just unleashing those bones. I think that can easily be one of his moves in this game. And just with their teamwork and their bond, they'll really be able to take on any opponent in this roster. And I really like this show. It's funny to watch the clips, and just all the ability is there. And I really think that they can definitely have them split, so that way you can be able to play as Sanjay and Craig separately, while the AI can control that particular character that you're not manually controlling, that the player is not playing with hands-on from the game itself on the battlefield. The AI can also be able to get involved, and you could be able to switch between the characters. But I just think they'll be very unique. I think they belong in this game, or maybe in a future title. Let me know what you guys think, and maybe some of you guys like the show, maybe you like it, hate it, or love it. I just think that they have really good potential to be in this game.